Good morning, YouTube. I haven't even had my coffee yet, but I had to get online and post this video because there's so many people who are so uninformed about what's going on with these WikiLeaks email releases and how serious they are. Basically, nobody's contested these WikiLeaks email releases, and with good reason. I think they're completely valid. I don't think they could contest them. There's a lot of chatter around about who leaked them, where they're coming from, but the truth is most of them were on an unsecured non-government server that I don't think Hillary's IT staff really knew how to manage. So there's evidence that lots of foreign countries had access to these emails, not just Russia, but many foreign countries, and also probably many domestic entities as well, because it was a fairly unsecured email server. So yeah, so make sure your IT guys knows what he's doing. But they did. As soon as they found out about this, they went and wiped that server with BleachBit, which is a software that pretty much removes all data and then overwrites every part of the hard drive so that you can know, so there's no possibility of recovering the data. But they did find the emails on a laptop that was Anthony Weiner's laptop, because due to part of a different investigation where he was allegedly sexting pictures of himself with somebody underage. Anthony Weiner's, I mean, what a joke that guy is. His wife, Huma Abedin, though, has been Hillary Clinton's chief of staff for a long time. Well, she's not president yet, so I guess she's not chief of staff, but she's been Hillary Clinton's right arm woman the entire time. Huma Abedin has a number of very troubling aspects besides being married to Anthony Weiner, the weirdo who's been sexting pictures of himself to all kinds of underage girls and whatnot. She's also directly connected to the Muslim Sisterhood, which is a really radical, I would consider it a terrorist organization. They believe in genital mutilation for women and all kinds of really disturbing things. So, but anyway, because of Anthony Weiner sexting pictures of himself with underage girls in that investigation, the feds got a hold of, the feds in this case being the FBI, I guess, got a hold of his laptop, and lo and behold, the laptop had 60,000 missing emails, or 600,000 missing emails, from the email investigation of Hillary Clinton that they claimed not to have because they had BleachBitted the server, which is obviously an intentional means of hiding evidence during an investigation. I mean, if you get subpoenaed and then you immediately BleachBit your server, I mean, pretty much, in my opinion, you're completely guilty. There's no question of that. So, but what's in these emails? That's the more interesting part about where these emails came from and what they are, is what's in them. And what's in them is, I would say it's shocking, but for those of us who have been following along from the beginning, it's pretty obvious. The emails clearly show the Democratic National Convention being rigged, very clearly being rigged, not just against Bernie Sanders, but against absolutely anybody who wasn't Hillary. They even talk about specifically holding meetings in order with other candidates who aren't Hillary in order to give the illusion of a fair and balanced convention, when in fact it was clearly going to be Hillary from the get-go. Which is why Debbie Wasserman Schultz had to step down, and it most likely led to the murder of Seth Rich also as well. So so a lot of dirty dealings at the Democratic National Convention. But it wasn't just the convention that was rigged. The debates have also been rigged. DNC chairwoman Donna Brazile has been giving Hillary questions at the debates before the debates occurred, so she has time to prepare her answers. Courtesy that was not extended to Donald Trump, although I'm not a Trump fan. At least his crew wasn't rigging the debates by giving him the questions ahead of time, so that's interesting. Much more troubling, in my opinion, than the election fraud, the convention rigging, and the debate rigging are the implications of pay for play through the Clinton Foundation, including fomenting civil war in Syria. So basically, private entities fund Hillary Clinton's campaign through the Clinton Foundation to the tune of millions of dollars, and then she has the U.S. government and the State Department do whatever they want. In this case, creating the Free Syrian Army and attempting to start a civil war with the rightfully elected government of Syria, overthrow Bashar Assad, and run a commercial pipeline coming from Qatar. And of course, and this has been pretty obvious, I think, from the beginning. I mean, the Free Syrian Army and all these so-called moderate rebels in Syria all have American arms, American vehicles, and many times American air support. But the most troubling aspect of this, in my opinion, is that Hillary Clinton was directly getting paid for all of that through the Clinton Foundation, and these emails show that pretty much unequivocally. It's not even debatable. None of this is a conspiracy theory. These are all emails that have been released to the public from WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, and they're not from Russia. They're not from Russian hackers. Many people had access to that insecure server, so it's hard to say where they did come from, but I believe that the emails are completely authentic. There's been nobody making any claims that they're not authentic, because I think basically they would lose all credibility, because it's pretty clear they are authentic. Now, starting civil wars in third-party countries for personal gain and rigging elections is one thing, but these emails also show a vast ring of pedophilia and child human trafficking as well. Those of you who have been following some of the stories about Jeffrey Epstein, the known pedophile, he's actually done time, I believe, as a pedophile. He had a private airplane called that many called the Lolita Express, which would fly A-list politicians and celebrities to a private island wherein they would engage in orgies with underage children and all kinds of stuff. So, and Bill Clinton has been on that plane many times, and so has Donald Trump. So it's no wonder that So anyway, Jeffrey Epstein and the Lolita Express is just the tip of the iceberg, though, because it turns out that the Clinton Foundation was directly funding the an organization and a woman who was running a fake orphanage in Haiti, and actually kidnapping kids and bringing them to these crazy orgies. And there's even some evidence that there was human sacrifice at these events. So really twisted stuff. There's been plenty of evidence for a long time that there's been a pedophilia issue both in Hollywood and Washington, D.C. Numerous whistleblowers have come out, including very famous people. But this is the first time we've got evidence, I think, directly by their own hand of the misdeeds that they're engaged in, and it's frankly terrifying. There's been some suggestion that the CIA and Mossad have been planting pedophiles in our government at higher levels, specifically for the ability to control them via blackmail or other means, and now we're seeing very direct evidence that this may in fact be the case. There's a lot of code words in these emails talking about pizza and hot dog, and but apparently pizza means little girl and hot dog means little boy. All kinds of talk about orgies and just really, really disturbing stuff involving children. So, and again, this isn't just Clinton, but Donald Trump has been on the Lolita Express many times as well. So, I think at this point, you really need to take a long, hard look in the mirror and think about, the safety of children, if nothing else. Think about whether you think it's okay for children to be raped and possibly murdered, definitely kidnapped and taken over international lines. It's not okay, and if you think that voting for the lesser of two evils in this situation is okay when both of the evils are involved in pedophilia. I, I don't know what to tell you. I'm voting Jill Stein. I can say that. There's been no allegations of Jill Stein having been involved with Jeffrey Epstein or flying to this pedophile orgy island or being involved in any kind of pseudo-religious satanic owl worshipping sacrifices. But there is evidence of that occurring in the Clinton camp very strongly. I mean, they just released 60,000 or 600,000 emails or something, and it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing, and it's no longer a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact. These people are twisted, seriously twisted.